Hello everyone, this is Zeeebo and welcome to this post-stream video for Supreme Plus Tasi. So I had a fun and agonizing session with Tasi because we hit multiple PTs and we did some intensive testing on day one with her. So before I speak more about her, I'm just going to showcase two replays, okay? One on my AFK deficit push and one in the PvP side. So you guys can sort of imagine my agony just now. Okay, so we start with this one. We will go with we'll go with this one, right? Tasi over here against this flower guy. So this is my deficit push at a really high deficit, as you guys can see. So if I plant everybody from the team, we're gonna get okay, we give damage reduction to her to protect her. We're gonna use iron armors to control the enemy, and then put Ardent for additional firepower. So in all keepsake, I'm going to use the binding spell for the massive defensive stats, and you guys can see the battle. Okay, so let's start the battle. Okay, so pull everyone together. Go in. Our dear Tasi went in. Okay, and she melted. She melted. Okay. So she melted again. Okay. Ultimate is charging up. Okay, she's finally gonna use her ultimate. Is it gonna be game changing? Let's take a look. Okay. Might be game changing there. Might be game changing there. Okay. Okay, she's gone. Okay, so I didn't expect her to survive this long, but I guess it's all thanks to the massive stat from Binding Spell over here, because it's 54% physical and magical defense with 16% HP. So Tasi was able to survive pretty well. There's some issue with the formation stuff, so the formation just disappears after every round. But for this showcase itself, based on my current deficit level, so I'm currently at 1, 2, 4, 5. Tasi is basically not surviving a lot of the hard hitting stages, and even with 2 revives in her hand, she still melts insanely fast. You guys saw how fast she melted even with the massive defensive buff, and even with iron armors and Ardent implementing the control on the enemy itself, it's still not impactful enough. Like, her ultimate is good, right? The sleep ability, if she gets it off with the EX weapon ability, is good. But the thing is, in a lot of the massive deficit stages, she just doesn't have the space, right? You need to do something as soon as she's on the battlefield, and like by the time she reaches the ultimate, maybe 2 or 3 of her teammates has already died, and then that is pretty much game over in most cases, because Tasi is not gonna 1v5 super stacked up enemy who is like massively overstated right here. So I think for Tasi's case, I feel that right now there might be no comp to draw out the fight to that stage yet. There might be. Some people actually suggested using Fresto. So I will actually try to use Fresto just to cater to my audience. So we're going to give energy regen to Fresto, and we're going to give this, and we're going to back her up, right, with as much support as possible and see whether or not she works here, okay? So as much stats, as much heal, as much support as possible. So one more round for you guys, okay? So this is me specifically trying to make Tasi work. Okay, massive stats with 2 healers with Fresto with the energy regen to get the ultimate fast, to see how impactful she is when she starts spamming her ultimate. Okay, so I think one possible combo is obviously to pair Tasi with Fresto to just get the ultimate off ASAP. So she gets her ultimate off pretty fast, but you guys can see she keeps on going into this butterfly state because she's so frail, and even after she gets the ultimate off, it doesn't feel like she's like uber mega impactful. Like basically the wait for her ultimate is not like super duper worth it. So after the very first ultimate, yes, she does get the increased haste from the EX weapon, so she does charge up the next ultimate a lot faster, which will give you the sleep advantage. But as you guys can see, we are missing a lot on the damage compartment. So this is me sacrificing damage by giving a lot of healers to protect her, and you guys can still see that she just fell there, even with the support of Damien as well as Hewin. So like, I think against like massive deficit stages, I just don't think she's a viable character. Like if let's say you want to try to beat a stage that's like maybe 3 to 4 times your power, for example, at least at where we are right now, I don't think she's that good. Maybe once we reach the equalizer, the normalizing of the power itself, she might actually rise up. But so far PV wise, a little bit too slow and a little bit too much effort for very little returns. Okay, so now for the PvP side, okay, so on the very first day of her release, we showcase our dear Tasi on this map, Arena V Special, because this map has this specific tile for her to get off her ultimate immediately, which makes her a lot more impactful. Because for those of you guys who are not familiar with Tasi's kit, this character relies heavily on the ultimate, right? She needs to get off the ultimate in order to get off the EX weapon ability even. So the EX weapon ability is good, but the thing is, if you don't get off the ultimate, you basically lose half her ability, because this is a massive buff to her. Massive haste buff, massive damage reduction, as well as a massive damage boost from the Dream Dance ability. But the thing is, if your opponent is not using Arena V and you are fielding her in every other map, she's not very fast. Okay, so I have a few replays. I'm just gonna choose one, and I'm gonna deploy her. So wait, let me just put some units here. Maybe I'll just put her on a defense to just test her out, okay, for you guys. So in the next few days, if we do get like, I'll say, decent results with her, then maybe I'll change my opinions about her. Okay, but for now, I'm gonna stick with maybe she's not that good, just maybe. Okay, now we're gonna put her here, we're gonna put her here, and then we're gonna put Damien here. Okay, so this is my sleep control setup. Okay, and we're gonna see in the next few days how my defense fare. So offensively, we did a few runs right here. Okay, so we're gonna showcase one with the Iron Armor's control. So we start by pulling everyone together. We try to snap them down ASAP. Right, for this team, we don't have that much damage because I attempted to use Tasi as the carry. Okay, so this is Tasi. Even with the enlightening spell over here, she barely got off her ultimate about 23 seconds into battle, which is, I'll say, honestly speaking, pretty slow by the current meta standards in terms of phase rushing. So is she viable against the slower teams? I think she is, but then she's extremely weak to Skalita, who is another insanely good late game arena unit, which is dominating arena in a lot of different servers. So is it worth it to actually go for Tasi to sort of try to make her work late game at the expense of your enemy making Skalita work? I don't know. We need more testing on that. But my idea for Tasi on normal arena and just Supreme Arena, right? I'm just going to showcase one match from Supreme Arena, just some testing. So right here, we have a match here with a Tasi on the opponent side. And you guys can tell me what you guys observe right here. Okay, so this basically summarizes everything, right, in terms of Tasi's current viability. So this is me challenging this guy called Zeeebo with Tasi, as well as Danlia with my Celestial Tiles. Okay, Tasi is slowly charging up her ultimate, right? We are 16 seconds into battle. Okay, 20 seconds into battle. So Skalita sends the enemy out. Okay, Tasi still hasn't cast her ultimate. So when we are winning with Tasi, I don't even feel like Tasi has contributed much to the team. And when we try to make Tasi the main core unit, I think you have much better choices out there. So my thought about her in the PvP side is, unless there's a way to actually make sure she gets her ultimate off, which is, you know, the energy tiles obviously, I think Tasi is quite a burden on many different team setups, just because of her not fitting into the team, or her not being able to carry the team, like by focusing on her as a carry. Like if you use Lily May, if you use Skalita as a main carry, these units they can carry. But for Tasi's case, I feel like she's like, you know, I want to control you and I want to try to damage you, but then she just doesn't do that much damage, and her control is just not fast enough. So that's what I feel about her right now, and that's just the first impression. So in the next few days, I'll still sacrifice my points just to do more testing for her. So stay tuned for those videos, and that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'll see you guys again in my next video. Bye guys.